All right, so let's talk about how you would retrieve data from multiple tables. So far, if we look at all of the queries that we've written, we have only retrieved data from one table at a time, right? So select star from part, select last name, customer number, city from customer, select, well, that we only really use the customer and the part table so far. But essentially, you could actually retrieve data from multiple tables. To do this, you need to join tables together. So combining a report from multiple tables requires joining tables. Now, there are multiple types of joins that we can talk about or look at later on, but as it stands right now, we're only going to look at one type of regular join in a sense, or what we would call an equi-join. And the reason why it's called equi-join is because it utilizes an equal sign. By the way, you can also make comments using dash dash in this case. All right. So let's say what we want to do is we want to retrieve the customer, I think I spelled retrieve wrong, but it doesn't matter, number, the name of the customer, their balance, and let's say we also want to get the sales rep that served the customer, as well as the sales rep name. Okay, so if we look at this, we have our regular customer table, right? So I go up over here, you can see our regular customer table, and in it you can see, okay, we have the customer number, last name, first name, and so on, and we have a sales rep number as well. And we also have in our sales rep table, we have the sales rep number, and we have a first name and last name for that sales rep. So what if we wanted to basically create a new table altogether that shows us all of the customer, well, the customer name and number, as well as the sales rep name and number. To do that, we would have to create a table that has a join function in it. So what we'll do is we'll start off by saying select customer dot customer underscore number. Now notice that I wrote this customer dot customer underscore number, and the reason I did that is because I'm saying that the customer number, this attribute, it comes from the customer table. So I have to call upon the table first. Whenever it is you're using multiple tables, you basically have to use the table name first, table dot attribute. You have to use this format. You have to use this format. Table dot attribute. So we have customer dot customer number, comma, customer dot last underscore name, comma, customer dot first underscore name, and then we also have customer dot, we also wanted the balance, right? So we have these four attributes from the customer table, and we are basically putting the customer table in front of each of these attributes. Let's say we also want the sales rep number. So we can do two things here. We can say customer dot sales underscore rep, or we can even say sales rep sales underscore rep, that's how we have it, dot sales rep. Why? Because it's the same attribute. It's the common attribute. Whenever it is that you are joining tables together, you are joining based on common attributes. And the common attribute, what relates the sales rep table to the customer table, is this sales rep number. This is why it was our foreign key. Comma. I'll do also the sales underscore rep dot last name. Remember, it doesn't matter whether I capitalize or I keep in lower caps these letters. And then sales underscore rep dot first underscore name. If you're using a different software like maybe MySQL or SQL Server, then you would have to probably be more cognizant of these caps and commons, right? Now, once you do this, you select all of the attributes you want. After that, you're obviously going to choose the tables. So you're going to say from the customer table and the sales rep table. Now, it doesn't matter which one you put first. It doesn't matter which one you put last. It really does not matter. All right. And we don't exactly have any particular condition, but we do need to join these tables up together. SQL does not know, it does not know what these tables, or it doesn't really understand how these tables are joined. Even though when we created it, we created this foreign key, the query itself is not going to understand that foreign key. So we have to enforce that integrity. So we have to put where customer dot SLS rep underscore number is equal to sales underscore rep dot SLS rep underscore number. We have to put this. If we do not put this, then we'll get a very big, gigantic error. So first of all, let's look at how this query would look for us. I have an error here somewhere. Sales underscore rep dot sales. Oh, I spelled this incorrectly. I had this incorrectly. It should be SLS rep underscore number. My bad. So now let's look at how this query should basically look. And now you can see it, right? So customer number, we can see all of the customer numbers, the last names, the first name, the balance, the sales rep number, the last name, and the first name. Okay? But let's just change this up a little bit. Okay, let's copy and paste this. All right? Here we have a last name and a first name. It's a little bit confusing, so let's do a couple of things here. I'm going to put this on a new line. And what I'm going to do here, I'll keep this as sales rep number, but I'll give this a new name. And I'll say as sales underscore last underscore name. And for this one as well, I'm going to say as sales underscore first underscore name. So now when I look at it, this altered query, these two columns, they will change. And all it's doing is that it's showing us the sales last name and the sales first name. So now we have differing names for these columns. So anytime you want to rename a column, all you have to do is you have to say as. Now, it can become complicated, or it can become a lot of work to constantly keep writing these table names. So we have another way that we can write it, an easier way, which is what I would suggest you all learn to do, where I'll start off by saying select C dot customer underscore number, C dot last underscore name, C dot first underscore name, C dot balance, comma. Go on to the next line, although I don't need to, but this is just to make it a little bit more feasible, or a little bit more readable. S dot SLS rep underscore number, S dot last underscore name as sales last name. So I just did not decide to put any underscores between them because it really doesn't matter. and I'll have s dot first underscore name as sales first name from customer. Now see how it is I kept using C and S? SQL doesn't understand what that is. All right, it does not have any understanding of what that is. But here I can define it, and just for the sake of argument, I'm going to use the inverse of what I had over here. So let me do sales rep S customer C. The moment it is that I give these S and C, for instance, the moment it is that I put this S after the actual table name in the from line, then SQL is going to understand what C and S means throughout. Where, because I have to have this clause, C dot SLS rep underscore number is equal to S dot SLS rep underscore number. All right. And just for the sake of arguments, let's add in an order by, and let's order it by the C dot last underscore name. Just to see what happens, right? So now when I do this, take a look at what happens. It gives us the exact same table. It does order it, and more importantly, it reduces the amount of writing we had to do by using these acronyms. But it's very important to use these acronyms properly. And it doesn't matter what we use for these acronyms. So for instance, let me redo this. And instead of C, let me put P instead. All right, so for each C, let me use P. Just to demonstrate that there is no lock. There's no lock in what we use to represent a table. You can use anything to represent a table. So now if I do this, it gives me the exact same results. Now, this line over here, a lot of people forget this line. Never forget this line. Establish the link. Take a look at our results. When we look at 3, we're getting Jones Mary, or Mary Jones, right? When we look at 3, Mary Jones. 12, Miguel Diaz. 6, William Smith. 3, Mary Jones, and so on. Look at what happens if we forget this line. So I'm just going to copy and paste this, all right? So let me copy this, and let me paste this, and let me remove this line from over. Let me remove these last 2 lines, because they really don't matter. Look at what's going to happen. Take a look at this. Oh, no, I don't want to actually move this anywhere. And I moved it anyways. Let me see if I can fix that. Well, I can't really fix it right now, but either way, let's take a look at what happens to our results, right? Initially when we run, actually let me run this again, right? So get rid of the scratch pad over here, and let me run this one over here, right? So when you run it, you would see there are 10 records because we only had 10 customers, right? Now when I run this one, this query, now you can see that there are 30 records. These 30 records make no sense. What it's doing is what is called a Cartesian product, if I remember correctly, that's the actual term. And what it's doing is that it's taking every record of every single customer and it's multiplying it, or basically combining it with every record from the sales employees, right? So in a sense, okay, I was actually able to get this up here instead. Anyways, so in a sense, what it's doing is that if we have 10 customer records, so if we go back to our customer records over here, our customer table over here actually, when we run it, we have 10 customers and we had 3 sales reps, right? So what it's doing is that it's taking each customer and it's combining it with each sales rep. So it's basically 10 records multiplied by 3 records, and that gives us a total of 30 records, which is incorrect. This results is incorrect. Sally Adams, in the original table, when we look at it, Sally Adams was combined with Mary Jones, and Don Charles was combined with Miguel Diaz, right? But in this particular table, what ends up happening is you're seeing Sally Adams combined with Mary Jones, Mary Jones, Mary Jones. You're constantly. Let me do an order by actually. Order by C dot last underscore. Let's just do 2 in this case. Right? So now you're seeing Sally Adams 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times, because Sally is now getting combined with Jones twice, with William Smith twice, and with Miguel Diaz twice. You see even Don Charles getting combined with William Smith, then with Miguel Diaz, then with Mary Jones. So essentially, it is not giving you correct results. And that's what happens whenever it is you leave out this line over here. Never leave out this line. If you ever leave out this line in SQL, in one, you'll be doing it incorrectly, and for my class, you'll get the entire query incorrect. I don't care how perfect the rest of the query is. Usually I don't give everything all right or all wrong. But if you forget this one thing, you get the entire thing wrong. That's how important it is joining tables are. So let's do this now. Let's say we wanted to basically see, let's look for some stuff here. Let's say we wanted to see the customer number and the name, the order, well, the part that they ordered. Okay, so we want to see the customer, so I can put some notes here, right? So we want to see customer number and name plus the part that they ordered with the description of that part. All right, and along with that description, we basically want what else do we want? Let's see the order line for this, and let's see if it gives us anything. Well, okay, let's just go with this. Let's just say we wanted the customer number, the name, and the part. So how are we going to formulate this table? Well, first of all, we'll have the customer data being shown to us, but we'll have to join the customer with another table. If we go straight to the parts table, is there anything in common for them? No, there's not. So if we want to see the parts and the customer, we need to look at the different tables that join together. So if we look at the order table, you can see the order. In the order table, you have the customer number. So we'll have the customer join with the order table. And then the order table, we need to basically come down to parts, right? If we look at part, there is no order number inside of here. But if we look at the order line, we're able to see an order number and a part number. So what we need is the order table to join with the order line table, which will then join with the part table. And that would show us what customers bought what parts. So let me bring this down. Not that it really matters, but let me X this off actually. And let me bring this down here. All right. And let's formulate this query now. So first thing we need to have is we'll do a select c.customer underscore number, comma, c.last underscore name, comma. Let's also do c dot the first. Actually, let's do first name first. So first underscore name, comma, c dot last underscore name, comma. You don't need to separate it, but I like separating things. Let's do p dot part underscore number, and I believe the other one was the part description, right? So let's just look at the part table just to make sure what it is. So it is part description, part underscore description, p dot part underscore description, okay, from, and here is where it is that we need to be cognizant of what tables we need. So customer C, part P, order O, order line, order line is it has an underscore with it. All right, and you can give it whatever you want. So in this case, I'll just call it L, but actually let's go with T instead. All right. So it doesn't matter what you call it. And now you have to join each of these up together. So where C dot customer underscore number is equal to O dot customer underscore number, because the order table has a foreign key of the customer number. All right, it has a foreign key of the customer number. I think it's supposed to be orders, right? I would have gotten an error if I didn't have that as orders. Notice when our select line, we only use the customer and the part table because those are the only thing that we want. Those are the only tables that we want to pull data from. But in order for us to combine these, we need all 4 of these tables, right? So now I'll do another join condition. So I have to use and. In this case, I'll do O dot order underscore number, and this joins with the order line table, which is T in our case, order underscore number. So just to go up a little bit so we can see what our order line table looks like. So we have the order number here and we have the part number. So the last thing that we need, and T dot order underscore part underscore number is equal to P dot part underscore number. All right. So let us run this and see if it is that it gives us a good results, because that's all we really needed, right? We had the customer join with the order, we had the order join with the order line, and we had the order line join with the part. So now if we look at it, we're seeing customer number Sally Adams ordered part number 8x12, which was an iron. Don Charles ordered gas grill. Don Charles also ordered a washer. Daniel's Tom ordered a bike. This looks more like a table that you would see in Excel. It's a report. It is combining data for us to see what was actually being transacted, or what data joins with each other. And the order of this does not matter. So for instance, if I were to change this up a little bit, so let's say in my where condition, let's say I chose to do the order number first, all right, and then let's say I did this customer number stuff here. As I said, the order of how we do this does not matter. All right, so this is our table here, 9 records. Let's just do it with a little bit of a mixture and see it gives us the exact same 9 records. So this being the case, we could actually order it if we want, order by, and let's say we ordered it by the let's say we wanted to order it by the last name. So c.last underscore name. All right, and then after that, let's do the p.part underscore number, just for the sake of it. Then when we do this, we can see Sally Adams, we can see Don Charles, and we're basically seeing BT04 comes before BZ66. All right, likewise AX12 comes before BT04, right? So all in all, the important thing to note here is that when we're joining tables up together, it is of extreme importance that we actually have these established joins. Now, one last one last example, in which case we'll say we want the customer number, last name, well, let's just go with name, meaning the last and the first name, the sales rep number and their names for the sales rep with a number of 3, meaning that any customer, well, for the customers that were serviced by the sales rep with a number of 3, meaning that any customer data we pull out of here, it has to be customer who was serviced by number 3, but we also want to see the first and the last name of that number 3, which we know should be Mary Jones, right? So here we'll do a select C dot star. I'm actually going to choose C dot star in this case. So let me do this in this case, all customers, all customer data. This is just to demonstrate that if we wanted to, we can actually just do C dot star to basically retrieve the entire table. Because we're going to do C dot star, we are also going to get the sales rep number. But let me just put the sales rep inside of here so you can see what happens. Sales rep underscore number, comma, S dot first underscore name as sales first name, S dot last underscore name as sales last name, from sales rep S customer C, where S dot SLS rep underscore number is equal to C dot SLS rep underscore number. All right, because that is what is basically joining or the common attribute between the two of these. And C dot SLS rep underscore number is equal to 3. Now the reason why we choose C and not S in this case is because we are dealing with customers that were serviced by 3. All right, it is possible that someone would have wanted a query for, let's say, 4, right? For someone who has a sales rep number of 4. And it is possible that the sales rep table has a number 4 included in it, which it does not have right now, but let's just say it did. But there was no customers, or there were no customers that actually got serviced by number 4. If we used S in this case, we would get an error, or it would be an incorrect report. So we do have to stick with C in this case. All right, because we're focused on the customers that were serviced by sales rep number 3. So if I run this, it is going to give me this data. So it's going to give me everything about the customer, but it also gives me the sales rep number twice. And the reason for that is because this was one attribute from the customer table and this was one attribute from the sales rep table. So when we do this C dot star, then there's no need for me to basically put that inside of there. All right. And now let me run this again. And now you can see that the sales rep number is only once. And you can also see the sales rep first name and last name. So you can have this condition, or you can have conditions over here as well. All right. And more complex queries, which you need to practice on queries in order to get good at it. More and more complex queries will actually require you to essentially utilize multiples of these conditions. All right, a lot of wheres, ands, and ors and stuff like that within one query. Right now, so far, just for the sake of learning, this is extremely simplistic. So this is how you would join queries together, more or less. Most importantly, make sure to always have this line And then at the same time, if you have other conditions, they are always in ands or ors, whatever the case may be. Actually, if you have multiple conditions, this will have to be an and, because whenever you join a table, it will always be followed by an and. There's no exception to that. All right. So that's pretty much how you would join tables using equijoins.